So let me just refresh your memory about the song. The song was written by, I think, one of the geniuses in our time in Israeli music. His name is Idan Reichel. Such a genius that Annie and myself, we took a plane for one night to New York just to listen to him, gave him a hug, came back to Miami. By the way, she's my daughter, so you are not confused. I'm not going with every employee on a date to New York. So Idan Reichel met a lady. Her husband was one of the hostages. And he asked her, how do you survive? And she said, during the day, it's very hard. I need to take care of the kids. By the way, I have a third child that my husband never met. And I manage the day. The nights, every night, I have a date with my husband. And he comes to me every night. And then I don't want the morning to come because then he disappears. So she screams in the song, Lama lo tavo li bayom? Why can't you come also during the day? So he heard the story and he wrote the song. You may know that he's back. He was one of the last one coming back. But this song still applies for 50 of them, or maybe the 20 who are alive. One by one, by one, by one. Talking about one by one, by one, by one, by one, this morning was a great morning in Torah. 370 kids. 370 kids entered through the door after not understanding why they need to be custodied by all these guys with weapons, but they're Jewish children in 2025 and they need to. And this is the largest program for little kids that we have in the city. And I think part of the success, this belongs to previous rabbis and previous teachers, is that every kid is one by one, by one, by one, by one. That's why we try. And think about one by one, by one, by one. We had an amazing week in Torah because we had the visit of our sofer, our scribe and rabbi, who is writing the Torah for us. I mentioned to you many times from the Bima that the Torah embarked in a project called the October 8th Torah. It's a Torah dedicated to the spirit and the resilience of the Jewish people after October 7. October 7 was a mini Shoah. Everything that happened in the Shoah happened in 7 hours, no state, not military, and on October 8 we came back. And this Torah is dedicated to that spirit of resilience of the Jewish people. Some people say that when the historians will write the story of the state of Israel, they will say that it was born on May 14, 1948, and again in October 8, 2023. You see, I will not be here to read those books, but maybe, just to understand the dimension of what it means. So we wanted to eternalize that spirit of October 8 in the holiest of the book, in the book of the Torah, and the Torah is already being written in several countries, and the end would be in Israel, in one of the kibbutzim that was burned, with some of the ex-hostages that are waiting for us, with people who survived Nova and people whose family member died in Nova. And you will be able, God willing, May 8th, to come here and see how this Torah enters the act and becomes neighbors with other Torah who also had histories. But it's amazing. Sofer taught me during the week that most of the other Torahs came to us already written. This is the one that you can and we are doing with our own hands. If you're still saying, oh, I missed the opportunity, there will be opportunities in May to come, also for hands and write. So much I didn't know about the Torah. I didn't know that there are 4,000 rules. 1,000 rules how to write a Sefer Torah. I knew that you can erase a letter and write it again. If you made a mistake, I didn't know if it's the name of God. You can erase it. You need to bury the entire parchment. You treat the Torah as a person. And maybe that's the secret of Jewish life. We treat our book with respect. They burn our books in Germany. We give life to our books. So it was an amazing week because everybody who had a chance to be seeing how the 305,000 letters are being written one by one by one by one by one. They knew that one, like every one of the kids, that one letter, if one is missing, the entire Torah is unfit to be read from. Maybe that's also a message for the Jewish people. If one Jew is missing, we are incomplete. So to speak about the spirit of what it means to write a Sefer Torah, what the message of writing a Sefer Torah with so much passion and dedication, I asked our Sofer to be in charge of our Dvar Torah. So I welcome our friend, teacher, Rabbi, Sofer, Sebastian Grimberg, to share some words of Torah from the Torah.
Shhabat arrives, and it's comforting to stop, look back, and reflect on everything that has happened on this Bima through the week. I have the privilege of helping dozens of you to write your own letters in the Torah. Spirituality, transcendence, emotion. And as it couldn't be any other way, we closed this intense week with the joy of writing together with the youngest children just a few minutes ago, an hour ago. Almost 20 years ago, I began my work as a sofer. In the almost 20 scrolls I have written in many countries around the world, you can imagine I have plenty of stories and memories, meeting new communities, learning their unique ways, interacting with their members. But for sure, what I enjoy the most in my work is not only writing, but sharing this art, especially with you, especially with children. Honestly, I fall in love again and again with their faces of wonder when they see that the Torah is still written by hand with a quill, stroke by stroke, letter by letter, word by word, until all 245 columns of the Sefer Torah are complete. And of course, how can they not be surprised when the most popular questions, the top 3 questions of the children's and the adults are, why don't you just print it? Where do you get the patience to do the same things for so long? And of course, the idea that if only one letter, as Rabbi said, one letter is missing of more than 300,000 letters is missing, it's no big deal. It's one letter missing. Who will notice that? But here is where the truth is very different. Because as we know, as we taught, in the Torah, not even one single letter can be missing or extra. The text must be perfect, exactly as it was given, so it can be passed down to the next generation without any change. Because as the Torah is a single complete unit, we learned last week, Kol ha-mitzvah asher anochi metzavcha yom tishmerun la'asot. All the commandment which I command you today, you shall be careful to do. Listen again, all the commandment. The Midrash Tanhuma notes that it does not say all the commandments in plural, but in singular, all the commandment. This teaches us that every mitzvah should be done completely, to start it and finish it, to put ourselves fully into the mitzvah, with full attention and intention, until we become one unit with it, with the mitzvah. In the same sense, our parasha this week, Re'eh, teaches us, Re'eh, the beginning of the parasha, Re'eh, Anochi noten lifneihem ayom bracha uklala. See, I set before you today blessing and curse, or consequences of your actions. The Zohar explains that the verb see, to see, means more than just using our eyes. It is about understanding, seeing the unity between actions, that means mitzvot, and the Jewish people, the unity of them. In fact, each mitzvah is like each letter in the Sefer Torah. Every single one is essential, and together they make a complete scroll. And this is why the last mitzvah in the Torah is to write a whole Sefer Torah at some point in our lives. The Rambam explains that even writing one single letter, or taking part in the writing project, or holding, as we did, the sofer's hand while he writes, that person is already fulfilling the mitzvah, because his letter fulfills my letter, and my letter fulfills your letters. Writing the Torah completely is a communal mitzvah, not individual. My letter joins yours so the mitzvah can be complete. In fact, writing a Torah is the highest, or one of the highest acts a community can do to become an assembly. According to the Kabbalah, the day God gave the Torah written by his own hand is called in the text Yom HaKahal, the day of the assembly, the day of the congregation, the day of the Kehillah, Yom HaKahal. Kahal comes in the word Kehillah. You are the Kehillah. Writing and receiving a new Torah is like repeating that day today. It is a chance for a community to reach unity of spirit. That is exactly what I have felt here in this holy place over the week. At every event, with every child, young person, adult, elder people, who has taken part in the writing, I feel that we are all standing once again at Mount Sinai, being part of a congregation on its special day, on our special day, on your special day, repeating the Torah completely. So now, returning to the beginning, how can we understand the path to become ourselves a perfect letter, being part of the Assembly's Day? How to explain to this 21st century generation the concept of handmade, the concept of perfection, the concept of become ourselves a letter, being part of the Assembly Day? How can I explain to those little children with big, bright eyes that a printer cannot the right kavanah, the right intention? After 20 years of activity, I understand that it is not possible with words. So I just make my task. I sit down, I take a quill, the ink, the parchment, and I let the scene speak for itself, so that the message can reach the heart when the right moment comes. Finishing some minutes ago, we read the Shema Israel. And there is a commentary that asks why the Shema Israel says that we should place the Torah, Advarim Ha'ele, upon our heart, Al Levabecha, and not inside our heart. The answer is simple and deep. There are things that cannot be pushed inside by force. The Torah tradition is one of those things. So we place them on the heart, And when the time is right, the heart will open by itself, and then the holiness will enter freely. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Safar, for everything you gave us and give us. By the way, tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh Elul. It's the beginning of the last month of the year, which means in 40 days, 40, will be Yom Kippur. And I know you know that when we say the Kol Nidrei, we have 3 Kol Nidreis, correct? So there's several explanations why 3 Kol Nidreis. One very basic says, if you miss the first one, you have the second one. And if you miss the second one, you have the third one, which means in Spanish, podés llegar tarde. You can come late, pero no muy tarde, but not too late. It's still not too late to write your letter in the Torah, because the sofer will come back. And if you feel the need to hold his hand and say, I am part of the October 8th Torah, you just need to see Jill Kach before the service is done. Everybody knows our CEO, Jill Kach. And you tell, when is the sofer coming again? And she will tell you, and she will remember that you want to be invited to those 2 days that he will be in town writing and then completing the Sefer Torah. Unless you want to travel to Israel, and we will be there between the 8th and the 13th of March, writing with the Sofer in different holy places in our holy country. Please write if you're able.